MIT analytics, it is winding down. The interesting thing about our next guest is that he has a business of his own, but a lot of people may not know it. So I bet you he's not deluged with the ongoing stream of resumes that everybody comes out of the woodwork to do. I suspect it's just autographs, Cris Collinsworth. Is it autographs and resumes, or what?
I can't wait to get resumes from this crowd.
Yeah.
Believe me, a big part of the reason that I came, we have a 5-person full IT team. We're trying to get to 10. So where else would you rather be? Come here and try and recruit.
So let's talk about the we very quickly, because we could always talk about Bengals in the NFL and University of Florida. It's Pro Football Focus. You bought the company a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Talk about where the company's been and where it's going.
Well, at one time when I bought it, I think we had affiliations with 13 of the National Football League teams. We just came back from the Combine, and we have 25 currently. I think there's a very good chance that we land this year somewhere between 28 and 30 teams. I was completely blown away by the fact that now at the Combine, there are all these 25 to 35-year-old young people that have never played football, that have never worn a helmet, many of whom are women, that are now having real decision-making influence over game plans, over rosters, over salary cap, and it's all about data, it's all about analytics, it's all about these young kids that are coming out of places like MIT and Harvard and Princeton that are not afraid of the numbers.
Good thing, bad thing, by the way?
I think it's a great thing. I now go into the week, and Pro Football Focus gives me a bunch of data on the two teams that we're going to do. And about 80% of it, I go, yeah, I knew.
Right.
About 20% of it, I love being wrong on Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
I don't like being wrong on Sunday night.
Right.
And so when these young people that have broken down every single play of every single game, it has been overseen by a coach, it has been presented in such a manner that it's easily digestible, and that 20% is where I end up spending my time during the week, because I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And somebody who has never played the game of football was able to teach me that through analytics.
Is there, and I'll say it in a complimentary way, is there an appropriate balance in football decision making today between the geeks and the old line guys?
Yes.
Okay.
But I think that there's movement. It used to be everybody was like, if you didn't play the game, you don't know what you're talking about, right? And a lot of those coaches are no longer around.
Right.
And we're seeing the 31-year-old head coaches now that are, I mean, they were born with technology in their hand. They know how to manipulate numbers. They're not afraid of what analytics will tell them. And they want it. They expect it. They're getting it in college. We have 15 major college teams that get our service. So they've been brought up in a way that the players of my generation weren't. And I'm of the opinion, either adapt or die, so I'm adapting. I'm all in.
But probably wrong guy to ask, since he owns an analytic company, but can you go too far with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, especially because it's still football. It's still a fist fight out there, right?
Yeah.
And there are some people that have these big hearts that when it's the most desperate of times, the Tom Brady's of the world, the Michael Jordans of the world, you can't put analytics around that. It is still a game played by human beings that in the toughest of situations have to deliver, have to overcome their own nerves, and there's no analytics to build around that.
How do you determine that? How do you assess the size of a guy's heart?
I wish I knew. I would be the greatest draft guru in all the world.
And a coach, by the way.
And a coach.
Great GM.
And a coach. I know it when I see it.
Right.
But unfortunately, I'm not there on draft day. But it is, there's a great, wonderful balance that is opening up the world of football to people now that are at this conference, that are wide-eyed, that are always, baseball was the first one to get there, and now all the other sports are following suit.
We're not going to do the who's going to win the Super Bowl and what a game last year. That's for 98% of the other people. Let's talk about Cris Collinsworth, the businessman. So your University of Florida education, you've always been a business guy. You feel like the purchase of the company gives you business satisfaction. What's next? Growing the company, scaling it? What's next with the company?
Well, we had 80 employees when I bought it. We have over 300 now, I think 350 now at this point. We're probably going much higher than that. I have some incredible partners that know a lot more about business than I do. I do have an accounting degree. I have a law degree. So I have a little bit of background. I can speak a little bit of the language. But just like in football, I think you're always looking for expertise. Dave Calhoun at Blackstone is one of our investors. Jack Cassidy, who ran Cincinnati Bell, is one of our investors. I have some people that I have the utmost respect for. And if you're smart, you're always looking for somebody who's smarter than you are to help you with some of those big decisions. And I think I'm at least smart enough to do that.
Well, you know, as someone else who has a law degree and realizes the law degree only opens the door, doesn't kick it in, and it certainly doesn't guarantee success, which is another bit of advice, how do you deal with the entrepreneurial opportunities and yet make some decisions in your life where you know what you want to do and get there and not do too much and not make the wrong decisions business-wise?
Yeah, I always wanted to be involved in some business. But I didn't want to go open a McDonald's because I don't know anything about running a restaurant. I didn't want to go into some manufacturing because I don't know anything about that. So when this opportunity came along and it was a chance to enhance what I was already doing and do what I was doing better and have a chance to dream of, if I had a chance to run NFL Network, what would I do? How would I do it? If I had a fantasy product, how would I sell it? And that to me is, I don't work. I don't work. I get out of bed every day and I can't wait to get started on whatever the project of the day may be. And when your vocation and avocation are the same thing, right? Life is pretty fun.
Yeah, and there's a very interesting piece of that too. And how do you consciously every day kind of juggle the media exposure, the media opportunities that you've been blessed with and do, and obviously help promote your business? Subtle, it's appropriate, and it's seamless, and it evolves. It comes from.
Well, I think data analytics is in the news right now, whether it's political coverage, whether it's finance, whether it's, are we going to raise the interest rates? You know, it's all about crunching numbers. And, you know, I went through a lot of math classes to get through business school, but I am wowed by some of the young people that I'm around now. I am wowed by them. I look at what they're doing, at what they're creating. You know, the NGS is the next big thing, where they put these computer chips on the shoulder pads of the players, and all this data comes spitting out. But what are you going to do with it? How is it relevant? How are you going to make money off of it? How are you going to make your team better? And in all of those ways, it is exciting. You know, every day is there's something new and creative going on in the world of football. And I think there's been as much change in the last 4 or 5 years as there has been maybe in the last 25 before that, because this old era of, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. You know, certainly the Bill Belichick's of the world, when they're out there, you're going to go, okay, Bill, you know, if a numbers are going opposite of Bill Belichick, I'm still going for Bill Belichick. But what is that 20% that even Bill Belichick's going to go, let me think about that for a minute. I hadn't really thought about it in that way.
Well, that 20% for Bill Belichick is probably 60% for the rest of the human race.
I think that's about right. I think that's about right.
So for the Boston fans who are involved in this as well, you're an analytics guy, you're a management guy, you're a student of success as well. What off the field makes the Patriots so great, and how do they sustain their excellence?
I think they do the same thing year after year with the same coaches. The fact that they're able to hold on to their 2 coordinators blows me away. You know, but you go down to the level of detail. I mean, the fact that Dante Scarnecchia sat out a year, comes back as the offensive line coach, and you see the difference. You know, there's a human element to all this as well. But the fact that Bill Belichick is able to put a system in place, and they draft to that system year after year, they coach to that system year after year, and you look around the league at all the teams that every 3rd year are switching from a 3-4 to a 4-3, that are going from a passing offense to a mobile quarterback. How are they ever going to compete with the guy that's doing the same thing day after day, grinding through, has never lost his work ethic? That's a tough thing to overcome. Some people have come really close. I don't think you look at the New England Patriots and say, that is the most talented football team I've ever seen in my life, right? I just don't think you do that. I think you look at them and you go, those guys collectively are so much better than what they are individually, and to me, that is really fun to watch.
Is it the system that's the solution? We talked about offensive and defensive coordinators, but the interchangeable players, is it a character issue? Is it a combination?
It's versatility and it's intelligence. Because no matter how smart Bill Belichick is, or Josh McDaniels, or Matt Patricia, no matter how smart they are, if the guys can't do it, I mean, every coach that goes against them says, we don't even worry about what was on film last week because we ain't going to see that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a new game plan every week. Well, that's great as long as your guys can understand it and your guys can adapt and make those sort of changes. But think about going into a Super Bowl with a game plan that you haven't been doing. So that takes all those off-season days of work. It has to become second nature. And when Tom Brady can get in the huddle and go, oh, you guys remember back in 2012 when we played Buffalo in the second half and we made this. Aren't many people can do that.
And everybody responds to that, too. So final issue, and we're going to put a shameless plug in for Kraft Analytics. It also helps, Jessica Gelman, the guys that run this conference, are affiliated with a Kraft-related company. So now we know we take this dangerous, unbelievable organization and arm them with data that nobody else has. Should we even bother showing up for next season?
I think they're going to do okay. Somehow I have a feeling they're going to do okay without me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Great to see you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for listening to this edition of Keeping Score.